name is Uchenna, for those who don't know, and my presentation is on 5 things you may or may not want to do at the club. Is this timed, or with my settings or your settings? My settings? Yeah. Okay. So again, this presentation is going to cover things you may not want to do at the club when it's your first time doing it. Again, these are strictly my opinions. You don't have to follow anything I say, but it's purely just my advice. You may not want to stand alone in the middle of the dance floor. And what do I mean by stand alone? Well, like my friend Susie here, she came alone and she stood alone. Why she may not want to do that? It's dangerous. It might lead to feelings of uncertainty, awkwardness, stares from people around you at the club. That might not be a good first move to do when it's your first time going to the club. And yeah, it's just awkward. My friend Rebecca here, no relation to Rebecca. She likes getting under the influence and then drinking, and then maybe just she finds her way towards the center of the club. Again, this might lead for discomfort for people around her, that's around her, and so on and so forth. You get the point. But my friend Dave here, this is totally acceptable for him because he's in one-to-one combat and a dance-off. In that case, it is totally acceptable to stand in the middle of the dance floor. Next, you may not want to pull out old school moves, as it may lead to injuring someone. This is kind of just obvious why you may not want to do this, but still people again and again decide to come to the club and show them their old school moves. An example is, last year was the National Cougar Convention in Chicago. They were surrounded by, I don't want to call them cougars, but they did pull out some old school moves like the water sprinkler. And you might get some other moves like the running man. These are totally fine, but you know what? They do end up sometimes injuring others. Water sprinkler, I've seen poke someone's eye out. The running man requires a lot of spatial area to use, and if you're not a professional, then you may not want to do it. In the case that it isn't acceptable, if you do have a professional breakdancing license and have been breakdancing for, let's say, plus 6 months, then you're free to come to the club, pull old school moves, and show them your moves. Next, you may not want to bring your grandma to the club if she's over the age of 60. This is definitely debatable, but I know grandmas don't like loud music. A lot of them don't like loud music. They don't like strobe lights, and they don't like smoky settings with 21-year-olds and younger people. Of course, there's some exceptions where you have grandmas that are hip and like going to the club, but of course it might make you and your company feel uncomfortable because your grandma's with you. That's just another cool grandma right there. Oh, okay. Well, I was kind of done with this slide, so I'm going to go to the okay, so
that's the idea.
I'm totally like breaking the rules of this Pecha. You may not want to attempt any overcomplicated dance moves, as it may lead to self-injury. Now, talking about this, I know people get really excited, practice their dance moves before they go to the club, like Ted is doing right now. Ready to show their stuff. They're ready to go to the center of the floor. They've built up like confidence. But you know what? Sometimes they just do and try and attempt the most overcomplicated moves. Like splits in the air, like a floor split, 2 steps, you know, but it might be really cool in your head, but I've seen it lead to very, very bad results, such as just hurting yourself, falling, slipping, and again, those might lead to just, it's not a great thing to do if it is your first time in the club and you're not sure what setting is going on, and you're not sure just about your surroundings and your environment. The floor might be slippery, you might lose traction, you might fall. And last but not least, I kind of want to again say that these are strictly my opinions that I offer. You may do this if you want to, you may not want to do this if you want to, But again, take these 5 options of purely just suggestions for first-time clubbers. You may not want to make love in the club. This was a great suggestion from one of our teammates that I asked yesterday. She said that this is the number 5 thing that you may not want to do at the club. Of course, unless you are Usher. He does have a song called Love in the Club, and then it's perfectly acceptable to do him, because that's what makes him hours. But I have the opportunity to see in my India send-off party at the club a couple who decided to just get hot and cozy, and it made a lot of us just feel uncomfortable. This is one of my Facebook photos. And just taking pictures of them and watching them display affection to one another. So again, I just like to wrap this up. Take it however you want it. This is just advice from me. And I didn't want to continue the rest of photos for making love in the club because it's NSFW, not safe for work. But I hope you could leave with at least one thing to take to the club of what not to do. So, thank you.
Are the photographs on Facebook?
Any questions?
You don't want to get the video?